Good morning and thank you for joining me. During this video, I will demonstrate a preschooler recounting a personal experience from the zoo. Following the demonstration, I will present a PowerPoint that discusses preschool narratives. Where did we go yesterday? The zoo? We did. And what did we do at the zoo? We saw monkeys and got ice cream, and saw tigers. That's right, we did do that. At this time, I will proceed with the PowerPoint. SPAU 250, Speech, Language, and Development, Assignment 15, Preschool Narratives. Let's hear them. Narratives are utilized in our everyday lives. We don't notice the skills because they're something that we have developed since the age of 2. Language development defines narratives as uninterrupted streams of language modified by the speaker to capture and hold the listener's interest. Narratives are present in a variety of ways. Some to say are self-generated stories, familiar tale, retelling a movie or television show, retelling a previously heard or seen story, or recounting a personal experience. Narratives also allow children to depict themselves in fictional ways. Owen says that narratives aid children to constructing their own autonomous selves as portrayed in their stories. However, there's a series of milestones that must be encountered before a child has developed all the required skills to form narratives. Recounting an experience. According to Language Development's glossary, a recount is a type of narrative that relates past experiences of which the child and the listener partook, observed, or read. To reference the previous example that was given at the beginning of the video, the mother or caregiver prompted the child to discuss what they had done at the zoo. Recounts should be told in chronological order in which the sequence of events occurred, meaning that they should proceed as beginning, middle, and end. If he or she has an increased memory, then it allows them to recount memories from the past. By the time children begin school, most have acquired basic elements of narratives and can recount sequentially familiar or significant events. Some events that they may recount are Christmas or Thanksgiving. Recounts are present more in older children and adult conversations. Skills required and milestones encountered. Owen says that a narrator must have 3 of the following: knowledge of both single events and connected sequences, knowledge of the method for describing events, and linguistic and cognitive skills to consider the listener's perspective. Although 2-year-olds have the basic patterns for familiar events and sequences called scripts, they cannot accurately describe the sequence of events until about the age of 4. Between the ages of 2 and 3.5, they talk about things that happened in the past, meaning their day from yesterday or what they did over the weekend. Ages 2 and 2.5, proto-narratives double, and the child starts to sequence events together without any assistance. That means that their parent no longer has to prompt them into discussing what they did. Mothers produce significantly more what questions and repetitions of the child's content with 3-year-olds than 5-year-olds, and 2-year-olds are organized by centering. Centering can be defined as the linking of entities to form a story's nucleus. Links may be based on similarity of features. So the cat going meow and the car horn beeping are related based only upon the fact that they have sounds. By age of 3, half of the children use both centering and chaining. Chaining consists of sequences of events that share attributes that lead directly from one to another. Temporal event chains appear at the ages of 3 and 5. An example I can give is we went to the park, we ate hot dogs, and we went home. I discussed what I did at the beginning, what happened in between that time, all the way up until I left. Mature temporal chains are focused and generally center one main character who goes through a series of perceptually linked concrete events. For instance, the dog ran, he took a nap, and then ate his food. Well, as you can see, in each sentence, the dog is only being discussed. Causal chains, in which one event causes or has caused another, are infrequent until the age of 5. Importance of narrative skills in reading comprehension. What narrative language and why it's important says that it is imperative that the narrative skills are developed because they impact academic work, narratives build critical thinking skills, they allow people to have the ability of social relationships, and narrative skills also help develop writing and teaches story structure. The reason that it is important to have narrative skills when it comes to your academic work is because without them, there could be comprehension problems when a teacher is wanting you to understand what she is saying, or when you're reading a book. And as far as writing and teaching the story structure, as the child progresses through each grade, they will soon have to develop paragraphs. And in those paragraphs, you have to have a beginning, middle, and end. How to assess narrative skills. Narrative assessment protocol and narrative language measures are 2 forms of formal assessment that speech-language pathologists can utilize. NAP measures a child's microstructure, which is sentence and sentence phrases, modifiers, nouns, and verbs, and while the story is being told, the child will be scored. Narrative language measures assesses a student's ability to comprehend and produce complex languages that is reflective of written language. It looks at the story grammar, comprehension, and inferential word learning. Narrative language assessment test narrative retell, test story comprehension, and test personal generation. Visual supports. It is not uncommon for teachers to utilize visual supports when teaching their students material. Crawford and Landa says that it provides shared context. Visual supports can also be a way to grasp a preschooler's attention and enable them to want to learn more. Strategies for expanding oral language and narrative development says that they support students by helping them talk about various aspects of the book, including the characters and their perspective. And they also describe a story setting and illustrate a sequence of events. Takeaways. Development of narrative skills can vary between the ages of 2 and 4. 2-year-olds start the development of narrative skills with centering, and as they progress with age, chaining becomes more present. It's imperative that the skills are developed properly, or the child may have comprehension issues as they maneuver through grades. Narratives can elicit conversation about the child's thoughts or feelings about a given story. Through the basics, preschoolers can construct simple narrative conversations with some prompting. All of the information in this presentation can be found at the following references: Language Development and Introduction, What's Narrative Language and Why It's Important, Narrative Skills, The Importance of Narrative Assessments in Speech-Language Pathology, and Strategies for Expanding Oral Language and Narrative Development.